Hello friends, this is Cara-Renee with B.Reborn Art and Healing, coming to you with another craft with me. This video is inspired by the beautiful and talented Angela Kerr over at Angela Kerr Designs. She just did this project for the Rich and Bella Christmas collaboration this year, and I had to give it a try because she made it look so simple and so fun. And you know how I love a lot of pockets. I like a low profile piece of ephemera that I can stick a bunch of stuff in. So let me show you the prototype, and I'll introduce you to the supplies. So I just have my scoreboard, cutting board, archival ink, vintage photo. My other punch broke, so this one's a little bit bigger than the other one, but it'll have to do to make my little thumb notches. And I've got my eyelet setter and pencil, a couple rulers. As we move through this process, I'll explain everything. So I'm just going to set that aside and show you the prototype. So if you want to take a picture of this, you can. So this this measures 4 inches wide, and this pocket, the first one is 7 inches tall, the second one is 6, the next one is 5, and then my closure measures 1 3/4 by, so 1 3/4 from this edge to this edge, and then 1 1/2 in height, and then again inspired by Angela Kerr. So the way it works, I didn't want to waste my eyelets by putting actual eyelets on here, that's why it's just paper clipped on, but this is just our little closure. But this is how this little fantastic piece of ephemera works. It flips down. I haven't decided what I'm going to do for sure on the insides, but I wanted to just introduce you to the construction itself. I am a little bit limited on time because I am moving my, we're moving my daughter this weekend, so it's the weekend before Thanksgiving, so I don't have a lot of time in the studio, so I thought I would come and just show you the basics, show you some options for how you can use this, because one could just utilize the pockets. In Angela's video, she actually put pockets here, she put pockets here, and filled up this whole thing, but I thought, how cool would it be if this was actual writing space? So we'll talk about that as we begin the construction. You can see it as a little, my template is a little bit off, but it's just a template. So that is it. And this could act as a floating piece, but it could also be glued into your journal. So you guys can take a snapshot of that if you have not already. And again, this is the closure here, and I would put an eyelet here and an eyelet here, which you'll see here in a second. So that is that. So grateful for other creators, and I did let her know that I loved it. I was going to try it, but I want you guys, anytime I share where I watch something, please do, if you can, go over and check out the original creator that I watched it on, because I mentioned this often. I'm a firm believer in giving credit where credit is due, and this is how we expand our community. This is how we inspire one another. So it's a really, really great thing. So this is my true kind of not template, but my prototype. So again, I put a little bit of seam binding there, and I put my little eyelets on there, and then it flips down. Now this one, because of the paper I used, I'm just going to leave this one because this could be written on. So you wouldn't probably want to write above that point, but you could write down here, you could write on here, you could write on here, you could write here, etc. Tons of writing space. So I'm not sure that we won't be able to do that on the one of the prototypes that we're doing because of the paper that I used for my backing, but we'll talk about that in a second. So that is it. Same thing. It's got 4 pockets, which is absolutely amazing. If you glued this in, you could glue it on 3 sides, and you could also have another tuck, or you could glue it in the corner and you could have a corner tuck. So that's totally optional and up to you guys. So we're going to make one for the Romance in Paris journal, and we're going to make one for our Christmas journal. This is the other one that I'm working on. I did not do, I did do the stitching. Did I do the stitching? Yes, I did. So We'll talk more about this, but the way that this stays together is you actually stitch it across here. You could also glue it. I have done projects like this and the gluing does not work for me. So you could potentially do just do a hand stitch, or you could use a stapler, or you could have, if you have a long arm stapler, you have a stapler that could go that distance. The distance there is, on the smallest bit is 4 7/8 inches. So you'd have to have a stapler that could reach that far, but you could totally staple that as well. But isn't that really cool with those lights? So awesome. Oh, this is not one that we're making on camera. So this, let me talk about then your option. So if you wanted to use this the way I just described the Romance in Paris one, is you could put a little piece of paper here. You could put a little, mark yourself out here, put a piece of paper here, put a piece of paper here, etc. Or you could put pockets and whatever, but I didn't, again, have time to do all of that. So I had to kind of go with the shorter version. So now that we're 5 minutes in and I haven't done anything, let's get going. So I've just quickly took some images from a kit that I purchased that I added to my collection for this journal. Look at these images. They're absolutely scrumptious. Look at those. So fun. So fun. So we've got a bunch of cards. Those will also be cut in half. But what you basically want is, I need to backtrack. I'm so sorry, because as I've mentioned before, when I provide this template on the copy paper, my measurements on here are based on an 8.5 by 11 piece of copy paper. When I print out my digitals, they are not that size. They are slightly smaller. So my final measurements are going to be different on this one. So you'll see that here as we move along. So you want 2 pieces of paper. I like to print on the front and the back, because then when you're looking inside of one of them, like for instance this, I used this exact same backing paper, and so it looks better when you cut that thumb notch. If you want to leave it not cut through both layers, you've got something there, and it's not just that stark white paper. So you want 2 papers that are exactly the same size. Now you could decide if you wanted it to be 2 different paper. You just have to think about, as we construct it, that different parts of the images are going to show in different ways. So you'd want to kind of play around with that and see if that's what you want. The other difference is when Angela did hers, she actually made her seam. So you're kind of making like almost like a coin pocket kind of construction. And she had her seam in the middle. I did not like that. So on my very first one I tried, I was like, no, 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 no. So I came up with another solution, which we're going to talk about here. So the first thing you want to do is take both of your papers and fold them in half. Get them as straight as you possibly can. Do your best, because you don't want them to be wonky, if you can help it. So there we go. So I'm just going to cut that, or fold that one. And then I think the other one, well, we'll turn them, so that'll make more sense again in a second. It's a work night. It's been a long day today, but we are moving my daughter, so I don't have any time to craft for the next couple of days, probably the next 3 days. So the next thing that you want to do is we're going to score this. So because I don't want my seam in the middle, I'm folding the paper in half, and I'm going to create a small score line here through both of those layers, because this is 32-pound paper, so it scores very, very well. And we're going to take in, I think it's about, let me just measure this and see what that marking is. It's difficult for me to tell. I think it's about 1/4 of an inch. So it's a 1/4 inch score line. And I'm just going to score through both of those, because that's going to allow us to close this side without having a seam. So I'm not always the brightest color crayon in the box, but I thought of this and I thought, what a perfect solution. So we'll come back to that in a second. And then we're going to do the same with this one. We're just going to pop it in here and We're going to score that. And then we should be done with our trimmer, aka score tool. So we're going to go ahead and take this. Let me grab a bone folder, and I'm just going to fold that in. Okay. And then we're going to give it a really good crease. I like to get it with my fingers first, because sometimes when you crease it out, that it'll move, the fold will move. So I just want to be very careful about that. Okay, same here. So I'm going to do the same on both of these. Now, I would not suggest using a super heavy paper. I believe that, I think she uses 100, Angela used 160 GSM. I have no idea what that equates to. I've never really looked it up, but, or if I have, I've forgotten it. So, but you don't want it to be too bulky, because when we start making our folds, it's going to be hard. So now we're going to just fold that. We're going to make sure that that looks like it's even up. It's perfect on that edge. Okay. So we're going to glue. We're going to put a bead of glue all the way down here, and then we're going to close it up. So let me grab my white glue. I did not get my Barely Arts out. But you guys, I'm so excited because we only have Friday and then Monday, Tuesday next week, and then we're on a 5-day holiday for Thanksgiving break from school. So I'm looking forward to some crafting time during that time. So I'll be able to catch up. It's just, I'm really working on my Monday, Wednesday, Friday schedule. When I do that, so I've talked to you guys a lot about, you know, balancing and all of that stuff for me, which is important, but it's also important for me to stay in the groove of my creative process, and creating Monday, Wednesday, and Friday just really works for me. So I am able to do quite a bit of work usually on the weekends. So it's working okay because I'm feeling okay. I'm still not great because I'm exposed to germs, you know, all the time. Yeah, we just had a kiddo today who sneezed in circle time, and the amount of the wad of snot that came out of this kid's head was like so disgusting. It was so disgusting. I mean, I had to close my eyes. He's my afternoon student, but I had to turn away because I was like, somebody else was working with him. So I'm like, oh, this is gross. So that's what we're exposed to. And we are wiping their noses. We are helping them blow their noses. It's special ed kids. So it's hard for them to do that. So it's just really gross. So I thought we would turn these like this. Well, they're not very different, are they? A little bit different. It's not maybe the best image. I would suggest you use a more neutral, not neutral, but a background type paper, but I wanted to try it with this paper as well. So I am going to just, I can't remember if I did that while I was just yakking. So I'm just going to crease both of those edges out like so. And then what you're going to do is you're going to take one of your papers and you're going to line it up here approximately an inch. So I'm not going to be super, you know, particular about it. So that needs to just come up just a smidge more. And I am following Angela's beautiful instructions to the letter, other than the way that I folded my my pieces of paper. Everything else is per her exacting beautiful instructions, so demonstration. So then I'm going to just secure that with paper clips, okay? And then we're going to make a mark. We're going to make a pencil mark about an inch. Again, it doesn't have to be precise. I'm just going to aiming for about an inch from that point. I feel like I'm far away. Let me bring the camera down a little bit. Boom. Booming out, sorry. Stay in camera, Cara-Renee. Okay, so we're going to make a mark here. Okay. And then we're going to take this first piece of paper, which is the longer one now because we moved it down from the top. So we're going to bring this up, and I just kind of like work it a little bit here So we're going to lose some of that image, but it's going to be okay. Oh, it's going to be upside down now. Doggone it. I did not think about upside down, did I? So I would recommend not using a directional paper. Oh my goodness, that was a silly, silly choice, but I think it's going to be okay. Because that doesn't look terrible. And I really like this kind of misty, moody look here. It feels like it was more than an inch. Or less than an, oh, it's slightly less than an inch. That's okay. And then the last one, I'm going to use my metal ruler because it helped me fold my prototypes a little bit easier. So then I just took my ruler and put it at the edge of this. We don't need to measure because this is just the last flap, and we're going to go ahead and just do that. I just use my fingernails to press that up into that ruler and then fold it over. And yeah, I don't think that looks terrible. It's not exactly what I was going for, but I think I might put some pockets and stuff on the inside of this one because I don't think it's going to be as pretty if I don't. So, and I'm just trying to get everything even as I can, because once I stitch it, I can't really do anything more with it. So I'm just going to give this a good crease on the side. And this is where the bulk is coming in. I've got quite a bit of bulk here. You could totally get away with 20-pound paper, guys. I think that you could totally do that, but I love that. I love that. So then what I think I'd like, see, everything's upside down. I do not like that. I do not like that. So I might not do this one. I'll finish it just because I want to show you, and I might have to come in here because I don't like that. Although a pocket here would be cool and a pocket here would be cool. So that might help us disguise some of what's happening here. So we're going to push through. I'm not going to do the decorating on camera because I do not have enough time. But what I am going to do is I'm going to fold this and I'm going to ink this edge so that I can see it to sew it. And I'll show you again where we're actually sewing it. I'm kind of jumping around. I'm sorry. There we go. So this is our piece in total. We had our two pieces. They're stacked on top of each other. This one's moved down. And so this is where they're both connected still. So this one's shorter, but we're going to sew along this edge. I'm just going to flip it over because I inked the other side. So I'm going to just turn to my machine and stitch that really quick. Yeah, I would definitely not recommend a directional paper. So then once you've stitched it, it becomes a little bit stiff again. So it's stitched along here. That's holding that together. Okay, because we only want the bottom to be solid. We want everything else to be able to have the ability to flip. Okay, so we're just gonna go like that. And I don't think I got an extra piece of paper for either of these closures. Silly me. I'm gonna have to rectify that. Whoops, what happened? Oh, wrong way. Like, why isn't it working? One's taller. This way. We're crooked again. Not a big deal, you guys. I don't strive for perfection, not today or any other day. Okay, just really, really giving that a good crease. It's a lot to hold it down, a hold down. So I'm going to turn that one up. So I'm not going to continue doing anything else with this one right now because I feel like that directional paper is not the way to go. So I'll probably create another one off camera in the winter or in the Christmas theme and show it to you in the photos at the end. But at least I got to show you the basic construction once again. So you could just do your little thumb notches. You've got 4 pockets, but this is not working for me. So we'll go to option 2, which is our beautiful Romance in Paris paper. So we're going to do the same thing. I'm going to speed this part up because I don't think you need to see this part twice. So enjoy the music. So I must confess, I'm a little bit spoiled on my crafting time. So when I lose many days because of another commitment, it's hard for me. I don't like to be gone during the week, and I actually went and met my daughter last night to take care of something, and so I was out last night after work, and I went and got my nails done today because I'm not going to have time to do it you know, soon. So I decided I'd do that. So it's another evening that this is all I've got for a couple of days, a few days. So there we go. We're going to do the same here. Just folding that back into itself. And then I love this paper. I will link it. It's another new digital file that I picked up for the Romance in Paris journal, because the actual core kits that I'm using didn't come with background paper. So, you know, like neutral stuff that you could use as backgrounds. And so I've had to pick up a couple different ones. This is my favorite one that I have found. So just let me give that a crease here on this edge as well. I don't know if I did that. Okay. So we're going to do the same thing. I'm going to go ahead and glue this, and then I'm going to, we'll come back and we'll start our folds, and then we'll do some inking because that will also be necessary. So now that I'm thinking about it, you could reduce bulk by just cutting one of these off. I'm not concerned because I'm flip-flopping them, so I'll have a thick edge on each side. I'm not bothered by that, but you could totally take off this other edge and not have that double layer. But I'm using thin paper, so I'm not too terribly concerned about that. So I'm just going to give that a good press. We're a little bit off there, but I'm not going to worry about it. I'll probably press that down a little bit too prematurely, but that's okay. So sorry about that directional paper. I promise I'll make another one and put it in the photos at the end. I need to get this video recorded, but it won't go up until for probably five days or so. So I'll have time to do my edits and take my photos and all that, but I just needed to get it recorded. So this is the perfect paper right here. This is the perfect paper. Look at that. So let's go ahead and start. So what's our thick? That's our thick edge on this one, and then our thick edge is over here. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to flip flop them. I think I want that one at the top. So again, we're going to, I'm not even going to measure here. Well, I probably should just for the sake of the video, in case you guys are following exactly. So that needs to just go up just a smidge. We just want it 1 inch from the top in this example. There we go. So we're going to paper clip that. I like to get it right up to the top there so that it's not in the way of our next little mark that we need to make for our next inch. So let's just continue in that fashion. So I'm going to mark another inch. So right here. Okay. And so now we're going to kind of work this paper. We're going to fold it up. Oh, this is beautiful. So much better than that other paper, guys. That was a poor choice. I'm not even sure what I was thinking. Part of what I'm thinking is I have no more papers on my instant plan right now, not until the 29th of November. I was able to change the plan, but they changed that program. I used to be able to change it and then it'd be effective immediately, and now it's not. So I have to pay $1 for every 15 pages I go over. And I'm going to have to do it because I have things I need to do. So I'm kind of bummed about that. But I bumped it up to 1,500 pages a month because apparently 700 was not doing it, which is insane. Okay, so that's that. And so now this one we fold up just without a measurement. So I'm just placing it along that fold, creasing it with my fingernail, my nice Christmassy red fingernails. I don't like to get different polish. I had that kind of orange polish color. I did not like it, so I went back to my color. My nail lady always laughs at me when I do that. But I'm a samey girl. I like things to be the same. Okay, so that looks a little bit crooked-ish, but I think it's going to be okay. So, actually, probably we should sew this before we do any inking because there's no point in fussing with it. So I'm going to go ahead and ink this edge here so that I can see it for sewing. So again, this is the edge that both of these pieces is going to attach both of those pages together right here at this fold right here. So I'm going to turn to my machine and do that. Okay, there we go. So I am going to take a minute or so and ink all this up, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I did ink the all the sides. So this is the front. So the inside is also inked. Okay, so on this one, I love this paper and I love the idea of just having this be writing space because I love writing space. So that's what we're going to do with this one and probably the other one that I remake. So that is that. I do need to get a piece of paper because I failed to print a piece of paper for this closure. So I'm going to do that really quick and I'll be right back. Okay. So I just went ahead and printed this piece again. It's the same paper, it's just a different, we'll be able to kind of, because this is really pale, I'll probably use a strip down here at the bottom, but this is going to be for our closure. So I'm going to go ahead and grab my cutting tool here. I'm just going to cut off my white border. And then per my prototype, the height is 1.5. Let me just show you what I mean. So this is the distance here is 1 3/4. That's from the edge to the end of the first bit there. And so it's 1.5 inches in height. So I wanted to make sure that I was looking at that correctly. And I did print it on 65-pound paper because I want that closure to be a little bit sturdier. So I'm going to go ahead and just cut that. Okay, and just get this out of my way. I can trim off these edges by my hand there, my white edges. And then we're going to make our closure. And this is the easiest way I found to do it. Of course, you can experiment with what works for you. But basically, I brought we'll do our thumb notches and all that in a sec. But it worked best for me to go go from the back. So, oh, come on, Cara-Renee. What do I want to be the front? That I want to be the front. So I'm going to make a mark that is 1 3/4 inches from the edge. So I'm going to go ahead and, well, I'm going to just line it up basically. So I don't have to mark it. On this side, I don't have to mark it. So let me go a little bit further. So there we go. I am going to make a pencil mark just so that for my own memory. Okay. Make a pencil mark there, then wrap this around. Okay. And then we're just going to kind of pinch this so that we feel the edge there. Okay. Move that out of the way and then make sure you line this up so that you get a straight edge. Okay, like that's not straight, so we'll straighten it. Sorry, I was a little off my table there. Give that a good press. Okay, and then we're going to measure in from this folded edge 1 3/4 inches, so that we know where to cut that other piece off that we don't need. 1 3/4. Okay, so I'm going to grab the trimmer again and just slice that off. It will all become crystal clear in a second if it's not already. There we go. Got some fun videos coming up, you guys. My brain is just exploding with ideas right now. Ooh, I actually like that side better, so we're going to turn it over. Okay, so I'm just going to crease that out. Crease that out. Okay. I really like the rounded edge. Why is that so... It's so much closer than my prototype or my template. It doesn't really matter. Does not matter. So there we go. Yeah. So let's go ahead and round the corners on that. I like that soft rounded look. I'm just going to use the 7mm. What? Don't do this. My punches are failing me. I've had this for quite a while. I wonder how long they last. I get a lot of workout. Okay. So let me ink this really quick. So on my other ones, I did actually glue this closure onto the back of this, which I guess I still could because it's still floating, right? So I think I will do that. You could also, well, it wouldn't really work as a belly band. That one seems bigger, doesn't it? Oh, well. Oh, well. That's strange. It is bigger. Look at how much longer that is. I bet it is longer. Let's see. Yeah, 1 7/8. What are you doing, lady? So let me back that up. Let me fix that. I'm not liking that. So I'm just going to cut that extra off and round those corners again. My apologies. My eyes are tired. So let me just fix that really quick and we'll just round those edges again. I'll feel better about that. Just round those puppies again. Ugh. What the what? It's either the rounder or it's my brain. I'm not sure. The jury is still out. But anyway, I've got a video coming up that's going to be fun. How to make mixed media skins. I know that sounds kind of gross, but it's very, very cool, and I'm excited to share it with you. I've done it in my mixed media life, but I haven't done it and incorporated it into journal making. So, and then in order to get my holes in the same place, I'm just going to lightly fold that. I'm not going to crease it out because I don't want to destroy anything, and I'm just going to pinch that there and get my hole in the same place. I like to use the small one. I don't change my settings because it confuses me, so I just don't. I'm kind of a baby that way. Oh, and that's not in the middle. What? Well, you know what? It is what it is, as they say. I'm going to use my backs this time. I don't always, but let's set that in there. Whoops. Those were not straight at all. I'm almost inclined to measure and see. But, you know, I tell you, perfection, it doesn't matter. So let's just practice that today. When I'm tired and I've had a hard day, it's a little bit harder for me to let go of the perfection, but we're going to practice that today. But I'm going to show you how I can tell they're off. You probably can see they're off because that's not in the middle of that strip. So our strip is 1 1/2. So if we used our zero gravity ruler right here and figured out what the center was, how do we do that? Come on, Cara-Renee. Oh, you know what? It's barely off. It's actually barely off. So it's like not like 1/8 of an inch. So we are not going to have a problem with 1/8 of an inch. So I don't want those to end up on the floor. Those little rings always end up on the floor. They're hard to see on my mat. There we go. So we're going to go ahead and glue this down. And I did get the right side. Yes, I did. So I do want it to go in a particular, well, most of it's not going to show on the front because it's going to wrap around, Cara-Renee. But that is absolutely fantastic. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and put glue here. I'm going to use my Fabri-Tac just so that if I need to adjust it, I can move it a little bit easier. Did not prepare this, so let's get it down there. Get it down there. There we go. I did not want ink or glue to go over that. And so you're just going to decide where you want this in terms of placement. I'm going to go about there. Okay. Way over, and just kind of line it up. Sometimes it helps to pick it up and then just kind of look at the back where you've got a little less busyness going on and just kind of adjust like so. Do it the easier way here and just, come on, move, move, move. It's pretty stubborn. Okay, there we go. So I'm going to grab some seam binding here. Just going to go with this, it's called Seashell. This is from my scrap cabin. It's where I get all of my crinkled seam binding. I have not even spooled this because I just got it. I think I buy from her. I swear I buy from her once a month, it seems like, because, you know, I use a lot of seam binding. Let's just take that off. Goodness gracious. So I guess maybe I keep her in business. And she's super fast, so I really love that. She gets me my stuff really fast. And I'm terrible about doing reviews, you guys. I should do a review on her her Etsy shop. Maybe I'll do that on my break. So I don't want to really do that right now though, because I was not thinking that we need to do our holes, so our thumb notches. So what I did to do that is I used my zero gravity ruler, and it's easier to do on a paper that's not too busy. But I'm basically looking at my 0 and my 6, that's the center. Pull the camera down again. I have a zoom, but it always freaks out on me, so I'm not trusting it. There we go. So I'm looking at the 6 and the 0 to find my center. My 8 and my 4 are here, so I'm just going to fudge that over just a little bit. This helps me to get a center. I don't worry about center when I'm just doing a normal, just like a one of them, but because we're doing multiple ones, you do have to be a little bit more precise if you want it to not look weird. So I'm just going to put a line there. Okay, and then I'm going to turn this, and I'm going to line up my ruler to the bottom of this project and make a mark on each of my little pockets. I'm going to make a mark there, make a mark there, make a mark there. Okay, so now we can kind of get them all in the same general vicinity, and hopefully my punch is going to work, because when I would try it on regular, oh, and this is so much fatter though. I think this punch is much fatter than my other one too. Oh boy, that's awful. Okay, we can do it though. So I'm just gonna punch these real quick. I don't know if they're actually going to end up even, because I am having a very hard time getting this very fat punch in to my pocket. So oh, it might not be good. It might not be good. I can't get it in there. So I could punch. You know what maybe I should do is just, no, I don't want to punch through both. I like to see that paper behind. So let me try this again. Oh, there we go. We got it in there. Now we just need to even her out. I think that one's not even, because if it was, I'd be able to do this better. So I'm just going to go for it. We'll see how bad we did. Oh, there's always a workaround, guys. So visually it doesn't look terrible, so I'm not going to worry about it. But I am going to take my ink and just ink that little bit there, our little divot. And I think we're going to have to, I'm going to have to decorate these off camera, because we do not have time. So this has been a long video. but you guys know my decorating style. So I took some images from the Paris kits, and they're actually a little bit big, so it's going to take me a little bit of work to get them to fit in all the appropriate places. So I will show you photos at the end of the video. We'll do a little bit of decoration on the front area here, and this one, as I mentioned, this all behind here is going to be writing space. It's going to be epic, all those pieces. There we go. So that is our project for today, my friends. I hope that you enjoyed the jibber jabber and the nonsense, and I hope that you learned something. I hope that you're inspired, and I do would really love it if you would go over and show Angela Kerr some love on her channel. Phenomenal creator. She has some of the most amazing ideas you'll ever come across. So a beautiful, beautiful, sweet lady. So take care, my friends. Bye-bye.